This morning, an all-new WBTV investigation raising more questions about what CATS leaders are doing to vet senior transportation leaders hired by a private company the city pays to manage its operations. Investigative reporter David Hodges was the first to expose the role that a private company plays in running the bus system. And as David Hodges reports, city leaders still have questions about whether CATS is vetting its top leaders.
I wanted to stand up and personally stress to each and every one of you how deeply apologetic I am over all of these transgressions.
That's Ben Limmer at the very end of his tenure as CEO at Hillsborough Area Regional Transit in Tampa.
That alone right there is a serious offense.
An internal investigation found Limmer provided a contractor with improper inside information about Hart's procurement needs. The investigation determined he violated 8 different policies related to spending taxpayer dollars with contractors and on personal expenses. Limmer and Hart reached a settlement agreement. He voluntarily resigned, and Hart dropped the rest of the investigation. But why would anyone in Charlotte, North Carolina care about an ousted transit CEO in Florida?
Who is Ben Limmer and what is his role at CATS?
Ben, number one, has never been a city employee. He worked for our ATP Dev.
I would figure you would know because I believe he was the general manager of bus operations division for our ATP Dev.
That is correct.
I asked CATS CEO John Lewis about why Limmer was brought on as general manager of bus operations for CATS through private contractor RATP Dev.
Do you know about his history and why he no longer works in Hillsborough County?
As I mentioned, Ben worked for RATP Dev. That if you're going to ask employee relations questions, you're going to have to direct that to RATP Dev.
But his background is CATS business. According to the contract between RATP Dev and the city of Charlotte, the city must approve any hires or transfers of key personnel positions, including general manager. The city also has the right to interview them and the ability to remove and replace any key personnel.
There was no reason that I knew of at the time to not accept their recommendation.
So did you vet him ahead of time?
He is not a city employee, so I did not vet him. The vetting would be done by RATP Dev.
Do you know when you were made aware of the allegations against him in Hillsborough County?
I've not been made aware. I've heard rumors, but again, it's not my role to get into the background of a private company's employee.
Even one that is managing the bus operations division?
That individual came with great transit experience. They made their decision to bring him.
I do think that the expectation should be that we are having at least as much oversight over them as we are having over our own employees. And in this case, it seems like a ball was dropped.
District 1 Council member Larkin Eggleston said council is growing tired of CATS bus problems uncovered by WBTV.
They've got to be very forthcoming with the bad news too, because that's as or more important than celebrating the things that are going right.
WBTV wanted to see exactly how much vetting CATS does for the contractor's key personnel jobs like general manager. For months, I've been requesting public records that would show that vetting. The city hasn't produced any of those records yet.
WBTV has reached out to Ben Limmer and RATP Dev multiple times about this story, but we have not received any kind of statement from either of them.